Greetings, my name's Neo2nd and welcome back to my Let's Play of Lynn. Now where we last left off, we started watching the life of a young high school girl, or what was it, primary school girl? I've already forgotten what the terminology is, but either way, we started the life of, well, fuck, I can't talk. We started watching the life of a young high school girl called Lynn, and how, well, her life is just getting simply stressful on all fronts, especially with exams coming up in her school. Her home life is a wreck, got an alcoholic dad that's verbally abusive for the most part, maybe even a bit physical at times. A mother that, well, is a bit afraid here to really stand up to him all that much. An older sister that is both pregnant and unable to find any kind of job here to support herself or her soon-to-be arriving child. And as for school life, well, Lynn doesn't have much going on in terms of friends, and what friend she does have that we could definitely confirmed, I don't personally think is really the best of friends that she could have, to be perfectly honest. And to top it all off, it's quite apparent to me that all the stress that her life is thrusting upon her is causing her to have some pretty unsettling nightmares. And it's not doing her any favors. And on top of all that, she's also getting increasingly more and more irritated at the existence of a lookalike that attends her school, who has a very similar name to her, but with an E at the end, whereas she doesn't have one at all. We don't really know what this girl is like as far as her actual personality is concerned, but I have no reason to really suspect that she's in any way responsible for anything bad going on in Lynn's life right now. But, well, I suppose we'll find out for sure one way or the other in this episode, because I have a feeling here that this is probably going to be the last episode of this game, of this series, this two-parter series. Because, I mean, it's a short Connect novel here. I knew it wasn't going to be very long. I kind of thought I'd be able to get it done in one video, but, well, alas, I didn't, and well, here we are with part 2. Anyway, that's pretty much all I can really say. It's not really the most complicated of stories. It's just, I'm basically a high school girl whose life's constant stresses are slowly starting to get to her, and I'm kind of worried as to where it's all going to lead in the end. Because I don't think it's going to lead anywhere pleasant. Anyway, let's get started and watch this most likely inevitable train wreck unfold, shall we? Yeah, where we last left off, I believe she was having another nightmare involving centipedes and a laughing crowd. They were the worst crowd on the planet. Mean sons of bitches they were. Anyway, hey Jas. Hey, Lynn, you finally woke up. And good God, you look awful. Who are you? Vaughn. Morning, Sleeping Beauty. Did you have a good night? What do you think, genius? Oh, I blink. I think I might be staring. There's somebody in the kitchen I didn't expect to see this sleepy Monday morning. Jas being awake is unusual enough, but it's the person sitting beside her that really makes me stare. It's a woman with dark skin and shockingly pink hair. Her face is comprised almost 50% of metal. Looks more like 10% to me, if not less than that. She has enough piercings to set off the security system in any airport across the world. Yeah, that would be an unfortunate side effect of having all those piercings, now wouldn't it? I can't even count the number of piercings she has. I can. 1, 2, 3. Boom. As easy as 1, 2, 3, Lynn. There are probably almost definitely more than I can't see. This woman is called Vaughn, short for Vani? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, then, well, as usual, I apologize. But, well, I just suck with certain names sometimes, or pronunciation in general. Because, well, sometimes, at the worst of times, I just can't English properly. But that's enough making excuses. Let's continue. She's Jas's older, kind of creepy friend. Vaughn hardly ever comes over. Dad doesn't like her. He thinks she's bad company. Not sure if I agree or not. Vaughn is pretty cool, but she's also rather scary. I think I last saw Vaughn 4 months ago. Or I wonder if it's Jan, because of the Y at the end. Because maybe the V in her full name is silent. I'll go with Jan. She said she'd become a Wiccan. I've heard of the term, but I don't remember what those are. She asked me if I want her to read my palm. I don't really believe in palm... Oh, that stuff. I don't know if I really believe in palm reading, but Jan is very, very convincing, and I was a little afraid that if she saw the imminent end of my life in my hands, it might come true. Well, I think we're approaching some kind of climax here, that's for sure. We're already at 50% stress levels, after all. Hey there, Vaughn. Jan. I give her a shiny little wave. A shy little wave. Where'd I get shiny? See what I mean? Sometimes I just can't English. It's a wonder that any of you put up with me. Jan laughs. I don't know if I want to impress her or try to hide from her. The two conflicting emotions war inside my head. That's probably why I'm clinging to the side of the kitchen door like a lizard. It's bad enough that I just got out of bed, but I'm still wearing my pajamas. My hair is all mussed up too. And what's new with you? Jas is right. You don't look so hot. Oh, nothing really. Just bad dreams. Yeah? Must have been pretty awful. You look like a zombie. Thank you. Coming from a woman like Jan, I think it might count as some sort of compliment. Didn't sound like a compliment to me. Maybe? Is it cause of exams? I hear you have your GCSEs in a few weeks. Could be. It's a little stressful. Gotta be hard, being the smart one of the family. Oh, I'm not. Not really. You're smarter than me. Well, that's not exactly hard, is it? Hey, don't be a bitch! Jas tries to give Jan a shove, but Jan avoids her easily. Being quite heavily pregnant, with a round stomach like a cannonball, Jas can't really counter. All she can do is tut. And why aren't you at school, little miss? It's gone 9. It's study leave. Oh, I remember that. You always get study leave around the last month of year 11, huh? Yeah. That takes me back. Been so long I almost forgot. I meant to stay at home and study, I guess. That's why I'm in my pajamas. I don't need to get dressed yet. At least, I didn't think I did. If I'd known Jan was coming over, I might have cleaned myself up a bit. Well, don't stay up too late. You'll get panda eyes. Never heard that expression. Despite being so scary looking, Jan's actually pretty nice. She did let Jazz crash on the sofa for a few weeks after that whole debacle with Dad. So that's who you stayed with. Then again, Jazz did get knocked up at a party Jan held at her house with all her weird goth friends, so maybe she felt responsible? Well, either way, it was nice of her to do. Whatever. I don't really understand Jazz's relationship with Jan, or how they became friends in the first place, but it's not my place to pry. All I know is, Jazz and Jan have been friends for almost 6 years. Jan's 27, I think, so they must have met when Jazz was 13 and she was 21. That's quite the age difference. Ah, crap. Knocked over my mic. That's a bit weird, but they've always gone on pretty well. I don't think they're dating, but Jazz likes to make jokes. Well, I would hope not, because, well, jailbait. I'm pretty sure they're nothing more than jokes, but with Jazz, it can be hard to tell. I glanced at the bread bin. The plastic bag of war buttons is half and half. It is all but empty, with only 2 slices remaining. As I thought, they're the crusts. Thanks, Jazz. Thanks, Jan. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not hungry anyway. I sigh, closing the bread bin with a dull thud. Jazz blinks. Don't you want to eat anything? No, I'm fine. You'll get sick if you don't eat. You're already so tiny. I'll be alright. Memories of my dreams still linger in the corners of my mind. I'm afraid that if I put any food in my mouth, it'll suddenly transform into a squirming mass of spindly legs. Ugh. Well, I still think you should probably eat something here, because, I mean, hunger is not really going to help your situation any. I can promise you that. I still feel sick. I need to get out of here. The kitchen is stifling. I'm actually going to see Susie. Are you going to study together? I was actually just going to ask that very question. Something like that. Alright, whatever. Jazz gives me a lazy wave, her free hand resting against the bulge of her belly. She always seems to have one hand pressed against her belly nowadays. Maybe she's trying to communicate with the alien life form growing slowly inside her. Well, what do you think's in there, a Vulcan? Or maybe she's trying to stop it from bursting out. That's a scary thought. Even scarier than Jan. I don't know, she really doesn't seem all that scary to me. So far, going by first impressions, she seems pretty decent, but, well, there is also the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, who knows what she's actually like here literally any other time of the day. But I'm just going to I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt unless something happens within a short time span or, well, any time throughout the remainder of this thing that gives me all the reason to cast doubt on her character. Have a good one, Lynn. Don't stay out too late. If Dad gets back and you're not here, he'll go ballistic. Sadly, I think that she has a point, going by what I've seen of your father so far. I know. I know only too well. Yep. I do hope that you can graduate high school and everything A-okay. Maybe get a decent job somewhere and maybe move out of that house. Because honestly, you could definitely use a happier place to live. Again, I'm worried that that's probably not going to happen with this story. That's something a lot more tragic's bound to happen, but... well, nothing wrong with hoping against hope, right? We are sorry to announce that the train departing from Platform 2 to London Waterloo is delayed by approximately... I heave a sigh and glance at the electronic display board. I wonder, are we going to run into the other Lynn here? Or, not Lynn, Lynn. The train blinks up. Excuse me. The train time blinks up. Bright orange against black. Susie lives a couple of stops away. It should only take 5 minutes to get there, give or take. But there's some kind of holdup. None of the trains are running on time. For London, that's actually pretty rare. I wonder why that is. People always joke that it'll be the end of the world before trains start arriving on time. But the trains and buses in London are pretty punctual. Even when they aren't, there are so many other trains and buses that follow similar routes, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that is unusual. Especially if all of them are apparently running late. I wonder if somebody threw themselves onto the track. You probably don't want to be thinking those thoughts right now. Just saying. When there's a big delay like this, that's usually the case. It's a fact of life I've been aware of ever since I was 5. That's actually kind of depressing. Yeah, I totally agree. I frown, tapping my foot against the platform. A bag of chopsticks rolls past me. They bounce by the breeze. The packaging glimmers in the sun. There are enough bins around. Why do people litter? Are they really that compelled to cause petty crimes? I totally relate. I can't stand litter bugs either. I can't even begin to count all the times I've seen people just toss something on the ground or in the street when there were like trash bins or something like literally like 10 feet or less away from them. Very tempting at times for me to just chew them out for it, but obviously that would be rude. So I bite my tongue. But boy howdy would I love to at times. Oh well. It's got nothing to do with me. I glance up and down the platform again. It's a lot quieter than it usually is. I managed to miss rush hour. The businessmen I'm so used to are already at work. They are just a handful of stragglers like me, mostly dressed in casual clothes. Most of the pedestrians milling about, glancing at the train times, seem to be around my age. They're probably in year 11 too. We're all on study leave until the beginning of June. And speaking of people my age, yeah, I knew you were gonna show up. Somehow I just knew. I see a girl. A very familiar girl. A girl who looks a lot like me, but at the same time, decidedly isn't. She was in my dream last night, watching me with cold and impersonal eyes while I squirmed. They didn't seem cold and impersonal to me. They looked concerned, if anything. And second, she's apparently wearing the same exact outfit in that you saw her in that dream too. I wonder if it's a coincidence. She looks tidy and presentable, as per usual. Her black hair is neat and straight. She's wearing casual clothes, but she manages to make them look sophisticated, like a model in a fashion magazine. wonder how expensive her clothes are. They probably cost too much. Sorry, they probably cost much more than mine. Lynn catches me staring and blinks. She looks at me, tilting her head to one side. Is she going to come over? I bet she's asking this very same question in her own head. Does she want to say hello? That one too. I hope she doesn't. And I'm pretty sure this is where your thought patterns differ. I'd rather swallow a sewing needle than speak to her. I never talked to Lynn in school. I certainly don't want to talk to her outside of it. Why is she at the train station at this time anyway? She doesn't have any friends to visit. Well, how would you know? You never spoken to her. I know, because she's been in the same form group as me ever since year 7. Maybe Miss Madley thought we'd get along since we look so similar. And I've never seen her talk to anyone. Okay, so maybe she's an introvert. She doesn't want to really socialize much. What's wrong with that? She just sits by herself, staring out into space. Not that she seems to mind. What a weird girl. I really can't stand her. Well, clearly introverts are not friend material in your book. In fact, I think I hate her. Here's my question to you, Lynn. Do you hate Lynn, or do you hate your idea of her? Because it looks more like the latter to me. And I think you should probably just ask yourself this question before you just run away with this thought process of yours and, well, something bad happens. Because that looks like that's the trajectory that this whole thing's probably going to go towards. I could be very wrong, but gut instinct and every little tiny clue I've seen here up until now is kind of telling me that I'm not wrong. But I've said that already, haven't I? Now that you mention it, yes, you did. Hello, Susie. You're looking disgruntled. I just can't believe it. Wait, this is your bedroom? Okay. What a creepy eye. I wouldn't want that hanging in my room. Susie sits on the edge of her bed, clutching a pink, heart-shaped pillow tightly to her chest. You know what? I think I'll lower the music volume just a bit. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, I was a little mildly concerned in listening to the last episode whether or not my commentary was coming out okay during some of the louder music tracks, so yeah, I'm just gonna lower the music volume a little bit. I wish I thought to do that before I started this game proper, but, well, better late than never, I guess. Susie's chest is bigger than mine. Maybe that's why she's so popular. To all the horny people, maybe. Sometimes, when I look at Susie, I can't help but feel jealous. She's not just bustier than me. She's prettier, too. Her clothes are nicer. Her parents are richer. Susie's bedroom is really, really cute. It's pale, pastel pink, with a few stuffed toys lying on the bed and a rose-shaped rug on the floor. Susie's bedroom is a little childish in a way, but I think it suits her. It must make a perfect backdrop to her live streams. What does she do during her streams anyway? Does she talk in Japanese and do cute dances? Wait, so you're friends with her and you've been friends with her since childhood and you don't even know what she actually does on her streams? It's a little surprising. And again, maybe not, because I have been sensing ever since the last episode a bit of an underlying tension between you two that I don't think you're being 100% honest with yourself about. But that's just me. I don't know. I don't really want to know either. But Susie's expression right now isn't very cute. Not really. She's angry about something. Positively fuming. How could Aki ask me to do that? It's so degrading. What did he want you to do? Oh, all kinds of things. Like, you know, stuff on webcam, this and that. You wanted you to do some kinky shit, I assume. Susie grips the pillow even tighter. Ugh. Well, that's always the risk with online relationships. Sometimes it's very easy for people who know what they're doing to put up a front. And at the same time, maybe you'll probably run into somebody here who has an easier time expressing themselves from a distance. I mean, it's just like dating in real life in general. It's always a gamble, but the problem with long distance relationships is, well, actually, I don't know where I was going with this. Never mind. I'm not going to just spend minutes on end trying to regain my train of thought, but point is, just be careful with dating in general, especially if the age gap is noticeably big and, you know, you're still technically in high school, because that could very well lead to disaster if you're not careful. In fact, the risk is so great, I would say that if you're the underage person in the relationship, you should not play the game at all. Just to be safe. I don't know much about online relationships, or offline relationships for that matter, so my advice might not be that useful, but you're not even old enough, right? Like that matters. Get up the times, Lynn. Yeah, I don't think most of society would agree with you, Susie. I certainly don't. Am I really that outdated? No, you're not. Don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It's not my fault. It's hard to keep up with the current trends when I don't have a laptop. Not like Susie. What year does this game take place in? I forget there was ever a mention of that. There's a computer in our house, but it's an old and boxy from the 2000s. It takes forever to start up, and the internet connection is always guttering on and off. I miss those old computers and all their boxy glory. I only ever used it for homework. I'd certainly never use it to try and have an illicit relationship with an Asian boy, man rather, on the other side of the world. Jazz would find out, or worse, Dad. And how embarrassing would that be? Well, in the case of your dad, I think embarrassment will be the least of your concerns. Just saying. I'd much rather it be Jazz if I were in your shoes, if I were going to get caught by one of those two people. But it doesn't sound like Susie wants an illicit relationship either. Well, then she should just get out of the one she's currently in. I don't know much about it, but wouldn't doing things on a webcam, it sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? I don't think you're good. I don't think she's going to take that remark very well, Lynn. Just brace yourself. We were certainly never taught about it in sex ed. Well, that's because webcams don't usually factor into human copulation. It's been that way ever since well before the Stone Age. So, yeah. Well, yeah. There's nobody actually there, so you need to imagine a bit. At least I have a good imagination. Susie throws the pillow to one side and adjusts her pigtails. She strikes a pose. I'm everybody's cute little sister, Susie me. That's her stage name. But can you really call it that when she doesn't perform on a stage? Yeah, well, maybe not, but even so, it's basically a persona, an act, a character that you put on as a performance. So, yeah, maybe calling it a stage name would be inaccurate, but that's just pure semantics at the end of the day. It's still a persona, a performance that you're putting on. So it's still technically accurate. Again, knocked the mic over again. Sorry. Her stage is her bedroom. I clap politely all the same. I don't know why. I feel obliged. When you do that, you sound like a completely different person. Maybe I should try to sound like an anime girl whenever she gets her stage persona going on. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, sadly, I don't know too much about how Japanese pop singers or music artists or anything or any other kind of entertainers perform in Japanese media. What kind of stage personas you typically see or typically get associated? What's the most pop? I don't know. I'm just going to do what comes naturally if she puts on the act again. And the music starts up again. It's part of the act. It's part of the act. Everyone loves it. Susie rolls her eyes. I think she's wearing false eyelashes and circle lenses. Everything about Susie seems a little too big and not entirely real. It's like watching an actress on TV. You know, I wonder, her audience in Japan or wherever she's streaming to, I wonder for what reasons most people are actually watching her. Like, is she really good at the kind of performances that she puts on? Or is it kind of like people watch you because they're laughing at you kind of deal? I don't have any real evidence or anything of the sort here to really form a conclusion like that here, or at least assume that that's what's actually going on here. It's just another, I'll call it a hunch, but the hunch I'm getting right now is kind of just telling me that maybe she's popular on her little webcam show thing, but not for the reasons that she thinks she is. I guess we'll find out one way or the other, huh? I thought Aki was different, but maybe he only likes me because of Susie me too. But he's writing your music. Yeah. Not for free. Guys don't help cute young girls off for free. Oh. So you've been paying money to this guy too? They don't? Of course not. People are always thinking about themselves. Yeah, that's simply not true. A lot of people do that, do think about themselves and nothing else, sure, but that's not universal. Speaking for myself, anyway. Not that I'm much better. Well, hey, at least you're honest about it. I mean, I'm using them too. Then you really have no right to complain then. It's just only as far as your own logic is concerned, you're doing what's only natural to everybody. Susie sighs. There are strings attached. Well, for your own end, the strings are only there if you want them to be. Just saying. You mean you have to do this and that? Yeah, this and that. Lynn, seriously, don't take any relationship advice from your friend. She's kind of got a bit of a one-sided view of relationships and dating. Yeah, Susie lies down on her bed and stares up at the ceiling. She must be mussing up her pigtails, but she doesn't seem to care. The cute little sister Susie is gone. Now it's just Susie. It was always just Susie. I don't mind playing around with him that much, I guess. It can be kind of fun, and I like the attention, but I don't know. You can go too far. Did he make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah. I mean, I'm on my period. Why do you want to do, you know, intimate things? Susie makes little quotation marks with her fingers. Okay, so it is that sensual stuff. Sexual. Intimate, as you say. I guess there's a limit to how intimate moments can really be when you're separated by thousands of miles of ocean. Duh. When I'm bleeding profusely and my stomach hurts? I look down at my thighs. I start to blush. Did he want to see? That's kind of what I'm getting from this, yeah. Yeah. He always asks to see. Jailbait, jailbait! I said I didn't wanna, but he was so insistent. And I was like, whatever. If it'll make you shut up. I don't really care, but it's gross, you know? Oh my god. Oh, that's just... Oh man, you shouldn't have done that. Oh dear. I mean, he could be taking screenshots with his computer and everything, you know, while you're on the screen, and just... Oh god. Oh god. Oh dear, this is gonna come back to haunt you. This is definitely gonna come back to haunt you. Susie pulls a face. I felt fine at the time, I think. I don't know. It didn't really feel good, but whatever. He seemed to be enjoying himself. I bet he was. And I told myself it was fine so long as one of us did, but... You... I disagree. I think both of you should be at least okay with it here. Otherwise, it's just... Yeah, it's not good. Everything about this is just not good. Oh dear. Susie bites her lower lip. It's very soft and shimmery. She must be wearing lip gloss. I don't know. When I woke up this morning, I felt kind of... I can't explain it. Violated. Used. Dirty. Well, I was gonna say that next, but you beat me to it. She holds her pillow even closer to her chest. She's still staring up at the ceiling. Her hair fans out about the bed like a halo. I didn't want to do it, so why did I agree to it? Why did I let him push me around like that? Because you just wanted his approval, I guess? I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to really know what was going through your head when you did that. You can only speculate. I'm not a pushover. I'm good at sticking up for myself usually, so I don't get it. He wasn't even here. It wasn't like he could make me do anything. There was nothing he could have done, really. Maybe you felt like you had to? Why'd you say that? Because that's what it seems like. You clearly felt like you had to. You clearly felt pushed into a corner, and so you complied. Even despite your own obvious reservations over the whole thing. Well, he is a lot older than you. And hasn't he been doing you all those favors? Yeah, that's another way people like him could get to people like you, Susie. He's doing all these nice things for you, going out of their way to where they basically guilt you into doing things here because they've done all these nice favors for you. It's just another weapon in their arsenal that they can use against people like you. I mean, it sucks, but there are predators out there who are willing to go a few extra miles here just to get what they want out of people. He bought you a lot of expensive clothes. Yeah, I guess. That's what I thought, maybe. I think. He did a lot for me, so... Susie shakes her head. That's dumb. I don't owe him anything. I don't think so either. Especially not when I'm on my period. I really don't think you should be owing him those views of your vagina. Period, but, well... yeah. No pun intended. No way. Guys are stupid. They don't understand how girls feel. Shouldn't he feel flattered I'm going out with him at all? Whatever. Susie suddenly gets to her feet. She throws her heart-shaped pillow at her bed. It hits the headboard with a dull thud and falls limply against a pale pink mattress. I didn't bring you here to talk about boring shit like this. Well, I mean... it's kind of nice to know, so maybe if, you know, Lynn was a little more self-assertive in this situation, she could basically tell you, hey, this is definitely not cool, you should stop this, get some authority figure involved, something. Because this is highly inappropriate and illegal. Just saying. Lynn, you're going to be my camera woman for the day, alright? Alright. Okay. I've been practicing a dance lately. It's pretty popular. I should be able to rack up a decent amount of views on Nico Nico if I record it. And I want to do it outside too. Okay, I'm trying to think. Isn't Nico Nico basically the Japanese equivalent of YouTube? I think it is. Outside? Yeah, outside. You got a problem with that? Not really, but... I've been Susie's camera woman for the last few months, ever since she started to gain some serious traction online. It's not a very lucrative business. Sorry, it's a very lucrative business. Not. Susie learns the dances, puts on a cute outfit, and then we go out into her back garden. She performs, while I film her, trying to stop my hands shaking, with an old Canon camera that used to belong to her dad and film her. Okay, so you regularly go outside and film this stuff, so what's so unusual about it this time? Susie's dad goes birdwatching sometimes. There's an abundance of old, unused cameras lying around Susie's house. She makes good use of them. But I've never filmed Susie beyond the boundaries of her back garden. Are you sure this is fine? Yeah, it's fine. I have no problems with it. Videos are more popular if they're done in public. Like at a park. The scenery's nicer. These kind of videos usually get more views. You can pull people in on the shock factor too. Like I did this cute anime dance in public. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure that really necessarily qualifies as a shock factor, but more so like maybe a cringe factor? Or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I don't know a lot of things. I'm an ignorant son of a bitch. What can I say? I'm just an ignoramus on a lot of things. No, I'm obviously not proud of that. I guess Susie's done her research. Beyond her little sister Susie persona, Susie's pretty calculating. I don't know, she hasn't been very calculating with her relationship with this Aki character. She'll do almost anything to boost her views and increase her fan base. I'm impressed, but you gotta draw the line somewhere. I mean, I can understand that this is clearly important to you, but I mean, don't let the chase for view count and all that consume you, Susie. That tends to lead to disaster for entertainers in general. If you dance outside, people will stare at you. So what? A few stares won't kill me. They might insult you. I can deal with it. What if they throw things? People don't throw things in Hyde Park. It wouldn't be respectable. Well, I don't think people throw stuff at people performing in order to be respectable. Just saying. I feel like pointing out that most young girls don't dance to cute Japanese songs in Hyde Park either. But I don't. That too. Instead, I say, my voice unpleasantly whiny even to my own ears. Susie. Hey, don't you Susie me. You're not the one who has to dance. I am. They won't say anything mean to you. But you don't have to. I do. It'll be good for my career. I'm trying to make money out of this. It's not all fun and games, Lynn. I can deal with it. After talking to Aki yesterday, I've had it up to here. Susie gestures to her neck. With gross guys. If anybody's rude to me, I'll make them regret it. Now don't let yourself get into a scuffle. Otherwise you'll get a whole flock of bobbies coming after you. I think that's British slang for policemen, yeah? I'm not sure how Susie will make them regret it exactly. She's taller than me, but she's not that tall. And she's so skinny too. But Susie's quite fierce. For a few moments, she has me convinced. As long as you're not gonna, like, I don't know, pull a knife on somebody or something, then, well... I guess you can't really do too much. She's dating a guy who's in his 30s. She must know what she's doing. Right? Gut instinct tells me not necessarily. I'm lying on my bed, not doing anything in particular. Just staring at the ceiling. I should probably be studying, but I can't even bring myself to look at my textbooks. The mere thought of cracking them open makes me feel ill. So I don't look at them. I keep staring at the ceiling. I think about Susie. Yeah, going by what okay, so this is a ceiling. So I guess this is the popcorn paint pattern, I think it's called. They don't look too big. I think about Aki. I think about Jazz. I even think about Jazz's unborn baby. I wonder what she's going to call him. So it's a boy. Jazz had a scan a while back. The doctor said her baby was going to be a boy. I asked Jazz if she was willing to name her baby after Dad, and Jazz let out this colossal snort and rolled her eyes so far back into her skull I thought they'd fall out. Yeah, I don't know why you would think that would be a good suggestion or question to ask. I didn't press the issue, but I decided to take that as a no. Our house is cramped enough as it is. There are only 2 bedrooms. Mom and Dad in one, Jas and I in the other. I never had a room of my own. I envy Susie, who has such a nice big bedroom filled with things. She's an only child, and she doesn't have any brothers or sisters to worry about. I'm sure Susie's parents have more than enough room in their house to slot in a newborn baby. But I can't ask them to take in Jas's kid. I don't think Susie's parents like me very much, let alone my bastard baby brother. That still leaves one question. Where will the baby go? Where will he fit? And what will Dad say when the baby's been born? Those are some pretty hard questions. So hard that it add 2% to your stress levels, in fact. This is starting to... Your stress levels are starting to stress me out a little. This is the 3rd time I've knocked you over. I'm on a roll today. He won't be able to pretend Jas isn't pregnant then. Not when the evidence is staring him right in the face. Will he lose his temper? What if he makes a scene at the hospital? What if he starts shouting at Jas? I can hardly bear to think about it. Maybe I shouldn't think about it. I don't want to, but... Lynn, are you busy? Oh, I see you're coming to visit. Should she be worried? There's a dull knock against my bedroom door. It's Dad. Lynn? Hey, Lynn? He knocks again. He isn't knocking very loudly, but I know Dad well enough to know this could become violent at any given second. Then you should probably answer. I sit up, brushing my fingers through my hair, and hasten to answer him. I'm free. You can come in. The door handle turns. The lock clicks. I swallow. Dad stands in the doorway in all his glory. He's a huge, hulking figure, over 6 feet tall, with broad shoulders and hands large enough to crush whole walnuts. When I was a little girl, I couldn't imagine there existed anybody bigger than him. I was wrong. Dad isn't even that tall, not compared to other people. He's a little above average, I guess, and the muscles he's developed through years of manual labor add to his intimidating physique. But there are bigger men. But I don't live with any men like that. And even if I did, I haven't learned to be scared of them. Not in the same way I've learned to be scared of Dad. Hey, Lynn. But Dad doesn't look very intimidating right now. He lingers in the doorway, his face strangely guilty, like he expects to get scolded. Did something happen? Can I come in? It involves Jas, doesn't it? Sure. I scoot to one side on my bed, opening up a space for Dad to take a seat. He does so, but not before closing the door behind him. My fingers curl into fists against my bare judgment. I wonder why. Self-defense? You're not cross with me, are you? I'm not cross. Why? You've been a bit quiet lately, and you hardly said anything at dinner. You hardly ate anything either. Oh. I didn't think he'd noticed. I thought he was too busy listing all of Jas's faults and flaws. Rude, ungrateful, careless, irresponsible, inconsiderate, prideful. The list goes on and on. I wasn't hungry. Oh, come on, you had to have been at least a little. You didn't really even eat breakfast. Are you sure? I think you've lost a bit of weight lately. Really? Your cheeks are hollowing out. You look like a little skeleton. Maybe it's true. I suffered from nightmares for as long as I can remember. They've been growing more and more pronounced lately. The nightmare last night about the stage show and the insects was rather tame in comparison. How can I be expected to eat after such awful dreams? I'm fine, really. I'm not hungry. That's all. You're not on some kind of diet, are you? I shake my head. Good. I'm not a girl, but I know you're all into silly stuff like that. Jas was the same at your age, but now, well, we reached full 60%. Dad grits his teeth together. For a few moments, I worry he's going to explode. But then he exhales heavily, and his posture relaxes. That's not important. We're not talking about Jas. Let's talk about you. There isn't much to talk about, really. Nonsense. You're my little girl. I really am little compared to Dad. I don't see how my littleness makes me any more interesting, but I keep quiet. It's best to keep quiet around Dad. Your exams are coming up. Nervous? A bit. Well, it's normal to be nervous. I was nervous when I had my exams, too. It's part of being a kid. He ruffles the top of my head with a big, calloused hand. It feels like I'm being mauled by a crab. You'll be fine, though, Lynn. You've been studying, haven't you? Stress goes up by 2%. Give it another line or two. I'm pretty sure it'll go up here pretty damn soon. I glance at my bedside table, stacked high with Jas's old textbooks that I haven't bothered to open. I swallow. Okay, not two, but it went up regardless. So, half right. I don't know what hurts more. Dad's large hand on the top of my head, or the weight of his expectations. Yeah, I've been studying. Good girl. So long as you try your best, that's all I can ask for. I'll try. But I know I don't mean it. Is that what you were doing with Susie today, love? Studying? Yeah. That's nice. I knew she was a good influence. I'm glad you're hanging out with the right sort of kids, Lynn. Not like Jazz. She was always going off with that awful yawn girl, though she's so much older than our Jazz. I should have been stricter. I told her off enough times, but Jazz doesn't listen. She doesn't, does she? Never has done, never will. Even when I shout at her. Makes me wonder what the point of it all is. He sighs. What kind of father am I, if I can't even discipline my own children? I don't think anybody could discipline Jazz. She's a law unto herself. My wry comment brings a smile to Dad's lips. It's rare that I see Dad smile, but when he does, it's usually around me. I'm not trying to boast. That's just how things are. Jazz never makes Dad smile. She makes him shout and spit and rage. You're right. Totally right. You're often right, Lynn. I don't know. I do. Don't sell yourself short. I was like Jazz when I was her age. I thought I knew best. I never listened to anybody, least of all my parents. I was a shithead. I made a lot of mistakes when I was raising Jazz. So did Mary. I don't want to make the same mistakes with you. I want you to study hard. I want you to get a good job. I want you to make something of yourself. You know that, don't you, sweetie? Well, that brought up the stress up two. All of a sudden, my throat feels dry. My head pulsates. Full of millipedes it is my mind, dear wife. I think that's from Shakespeare. Macbeth. We were studying it in school. I own the complete works of William Shakespeare. I have all his plays and poems in one nice little volume, but I haven't really read it that much as of yet. At some point, I really need to sit down and actually try reading all that ye olden English text. See just how much of it I can actually comprehend. At least I remember something. Too bad all the things I remember are completely worthless. But why am I telling you this? You're a good girl. A smart girl. You might not be great at maths or science, but I know you'll ace English for sure. Your English teacher always said nice things about you at Parents' Evening. Dad ruffles the top of my head. Okay, Daddy, I know you're probably, I'm pretty sure in this moment you genuinely mean well. But I hope you have some kind of, well, mind reading or empathetic sense here, because you're kind of making your kid a bit stressed. You'll do all right, love. I have faith in you. You'll make your old man proud. Jas never did, but you're different. I hope you don't let me down. Please shut up. Hey, wait a minute. No, wait, never mind. I thought I saw her outfit change or something. I sigh softly. Vague noises escape from my lips. I hardly sound intelligent, but at least I'm sentient. I know I still exist. It's the middle of the night and the lights are dim and the sky is filled with stars, but I still exist. I don't need to find proof of my own worth from strangers on the internet like Susie does. I don't extort older men for clothes and shoes and accessories online while pretending to be somebody I'm not. I don't want to. I don't think any man, no matter how desperate, would want to go out with me either. I've never been good at playing pretend. Not like Susie. Seriously, listen to your old man. Don't sell yourself so short. I think there's a lot of people out there who would appreciate such honesty in a romantic partner. When we were little kids, Susie was always the one who created the complicated backstories of our dolls, or divvied up the roles when we played at being happy families. I never had much of a model to go on. I gasp. I tip my head back. My hair is wedged beneath my head and it hurts a little. It tugs at my scalp whenever I shift, but I try to ignore it. If nobody else wants me, no man or woman, then I can at least want myself. Well, I do agree. If there's anybody in the world who should love you, it's always yourself. Trust me, you'll be a lot happier if you can learn to love yourself. Since I share a bedroom with Jas, I don't often get a chance to do this. I might as well make the most of it. Jas is still out. I don't know where she's doing or where she is, or I don't know what she's doing or where she is, but she's probably with Vaughn. Wait a minute. Okay, wait, so I was just confused here. Like, did the father already leave or something? Because it just feels like as though I've entered another scene. Dad was livid when he discovered Jas still wasn't back home by 11 o'clock. Dad tried to keep his voice down, but I could hear him murmuring angrily to Mum in their room. That girl has no sense of respect. I'll wring her neck when she gets back. The walls in our house are thin. I can hear everything from my bedroom. I can hear the wind rattling my window pane. I can hear the faulty taps in the bathroom. I could hear the humming of the fridge downstairs. Must be a loud fridge. Sometimes I can hear the springs of Mum and Dad's bed creaking. I wish I couldn't. When we were younger, Jas and I used to giggle about it. Jas giggled about it, rather, and then went on to tell me about where babies come from and exactly what Mum and Dad were doing in excruciating detail. You poor child. Your older sister destroyed your innocence. Way to go, Jas. You really are the best sister that anybody could ask for. I told Jess she was gross. She laughed and told me I was being a baby. Jess was 9 then. I was 6. I haven't heard the springs in Mom and Dad's room creaking for a while. More often than not, I just hear low, angry murmuring. Arguing. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it isn't so quiet. The house is almost quiet now, but it's a deceptive silence that contains something deeper. Something darker. The wind outside. The slow, steady dripping of the bathroom taps. The sad, sniffling sounds my mother makes when she sleeps. My own soft sighs. I wonder what I should think about. I don't really know. Anything but Mom and Dad. Susie's told me a little about this before. She's had boyfriends, and now she has Aki. And I've had sex ed classes, but I'm not really good at this. I'm not good at making myself feel good. I look it up online. There's only one shared computer in the house, and I'm too worried somebody will find out what I've been searching for. A reasonable fear. I don't know what to do, so I grope and poke ineffectually and hope for the best. I don't really understand my body. It's strange and alien. Whenever I shower or take a bath, I try not to look at it too much. Well, this is certainly a very private moment I'm being witness to. I'll say at least this much. I hope, for your sake, it will bring your stress levels down a bit. My body makes me feel depressed. I thought the teenage years were meant to be the best of your life. Why then do I look so ugly? You're still going through puberty, probably. Give it more time. Also, you're not ugly. I don't just look ugly. I feel ugly. Doing this is ugly. I don't deserve to feel good. Yeah, maybe that's why it doesn't feel good. Okay, come on. You deserve to feel as good as anybody else. Stop beating yourself up so much. It's saddening. And I know easier said than done, but this is just a downward spiral that's only going to get worse the more you throw yourself into it. There's too much guilt attached. And awkwardness, too, because my parents might wake up at any second. Maybe if I whimper beneath my breath, like they do during sex scenes in all the movies I've seen, it'll feel good. But the sex scenes in movies are all staged. Even if they weren't, they usually involve at least 2 people, and there's only one of me. There will only ever be one of me. Don't give up hope. That's all I'll say. I'll always be alone. No attractive men will try to proposition me online. They'll never buy me expensive gifts in exchange for a long, drawn-out, loveless cybersex. Well, to be fair, Lynn, a lot of those people aren't exactly looking for a romantic relationship in those kinds of exchanges, so no boys will try to get me drunk at parties, fuck me in Von and Jan's bedroom, then leave me without giving a name or their phone number. Well, I would say it's probably for the best, all things considered. But I'm still arguing that you're not as ugly as you're not ugly, period. No guy will want to hold my hand or kiss my lips or say that he loves me because, according to Susie, romance is dead and I shouldn't hope for too much in this day and age. You really shouldn't listen to Susie on romance. I said it before, but I can't stress it enough at this point. Why else do you think so many guys watch me when I live stream? It's because they're lonely. Maybe everybody's lonely. Isn't that why I'm doing this? I don't know. It doesn't make me feel better. I sound unconvincing. My soft gasps are hollow and empty and devoid of emotion. I must look so stupid. I feel stupid. And I'm supposed to be the smart one. If I was more like her. Why am I thinking about that? I tense. My fingers spasm. My back arches. But not because I managed to achieve climax or anything like that. I don't know what that feels like. Susie says it feels good. I'll take her word for it. So you've talked about masturbation too, I see. Susie lost her virginity at the start of the school term. Please tell me it's not with an older man. She's only 15. That's young. Yeah, it kind of is. Not just young. It's illegal. It's especially shocking considering Susie is supposed to be a good girl who comes from a nice and normal family. Her dad watches birds and her mother translates manuals for assembling TVs and kitchen cupboards. I don't think they ever argue. They don't seem like the arguing sort. But Susie still lost her virginity when she was 15, so maybe that's the normal thing that girls do? Depends on who you ask. I think Jess was around that age too. But I haven't. I never held hands with a boy, let alone kissed one. Let alone anything else. Maybe I shouldn't try to think about guys. It's not really working. It just makes me feel even more aware of just how alone I am. A girl, then? Should I think about a girl? Susie? No, not Susie. She has Aki. No comment. Then. What about the other me? How did I know? So, is this going to turn into a hate date with Rosy Palms? Involving your doppelganger? Probably. It's probably going to be just as awkward as it sounds, too. The Lynn with the extra E, whose name would be worth more points than mine on a Scrabble board. Does she know how to do this properly? I doubt it. She's so prim and proper. She never talks to anyone in class. When we learnt about sex in class, she faced forwards and looked attentive enough, but in this kind of distant way. Like it had nothing to do with her. Like she was never, ever going to have sex with any boy. Not like I can judge. I bet I'll never, ever have sex with a boy either. I'm going to die sad and alone. I hope Lynn does, too. Your irrational hatred for your doppelganger is honestly starting to get kind of sad. It wouldn't be fair if she has a better love life than me. She's already prettier than me, and smarter, and her family's richer than mine. Why does she have to take everything I want? It's not fair. Maybe it's because she comes from a better household than I do. Lynn's shoes are never scuffed, and the pleats of her skirt are always crisp and neatly ironed. Could I look pretty like her if I tried? I don't know. You're fine just the way you are. Thinking about it, Lynn does have quite a nice body. I wonder what it would feel like if she touched me. If she kissed me. If her tongue was inside my mouth. This is going to probably turn into the strangest date with rosy palms I've ever read. What would that feel like? I work my fingers around slowly, tracing circles in an intimate place I'm a little too embarrassed to actually name. I never tried thinking about a girl like this before. Least of all, Lynn. It's dirty. Strange. Maybe that's why I'm a little louder than usual. But I can't be loud. The walls are too thin. I don't want my parents to hear me. But it's starting to feel good. And I'm getting kind of wet. And I wonder if this video will be allowed to stay on YouTube even if I age restrict it. I'm probably going to have to. Oh, thank God, your stress levels are going down. Keep at it. You just had to ruin it. You were ruining probably the only single thing here that could relieve her stress by showing up. How dare, big sister. Lynn? What on earth are you doing? For a few moments, I forget about being quiet. The thought goes out of my head altogether. It's hard to be quiet when your big sister is standing in the doorway of your shared bedroom, looking at you with evident amusement, with one hand resting against her large, pregnant belly. Jess! I pull my hand away from between my thighs like I've been burnt. I think I really am burning. My face is red raw. It's a good thing I still have the covers pulled up around me. But it should have been obvious what I was doing. You could have knocked! Sorry. I didn't know you'd be doing that while I was gone. You always seemed like such a good girl. Jazz snickers. She looks wickedly amused, like she's seen something hilarious. Like I'm hilarious. Who would ever take me seriously anyway? Well, certainly not your sister. Oh, God. My face burns. Jazz, please leave. You're getting all distressed to come back. I pull my duvet about me tightly. I wrap it about my body like a shield. I wish I could kid myself it's an invisibility cloak, but Jazz's eyes are still boring into me. Ugh. I can hear Dad shifting around in his sleep in my parents' room. The springs of the old mattress that need replacing 10 years ago creak. I hold my breath. waiting. But after that, he falls asleep. Sorry, he falls silent. The soft sound of his snoring permeates the house once more. The tap in the bathroom continues to drip. At least you didn't wake him up. Jas shuts the bedroom door behind her with a soft thud. Is he mad at me? Livid. Thought so. Why were you out so late anyway? I was at Jan's. We were watching Saw. Why Saw? 'Cause it's awesome. I don't think Saw is something pregnant women should be watching. They should put a warning on it, like alcohol or cigarettes. The baby might be born all messed up. I don't think you'll have to worry about that sort of thing happening, Lynn. Is that how serial killers are made? Oh, sure, let's go with that. Serial killers are made by your mother watching crappy B horror movies, or notably famous horror movies like Saw, while they're pregnant with you. All the horrific imagery that those movies tend to convey is basically telegraphed and psychically communicated into your developing mind, much like the nutrients that the umbilical cord is delivering right into your fetal body. Clearly you don't exceed in biology, dear Lynn. I just meant to watch the first one, I swear, but then Jan brought out the second and third, and, well, I kind of wanted to marathon them. Didn't you worry that what Dad would say? A bit, but I don't want to think about Dad. I'm an adult. I should be allowed to do what I want. Well, you kind of don't really act like one. And you want to watch Saw? Yep. It's not even Halloween. Not anymore. But I got the fright of my life when I came back, let me tell you. You're horrible. Jas snickers again. I'm just teasing. Don't take it to heart. You're a healthy young girl. It's perfectly normal you'd want to enjoy yourself a little. Shut up. Don't look so huffy. I'm a girl too. I know what it's like. Be quiet. Jas smirks. Though you did sound a bit like a dying cow. Jasmine! I wanted to shout at her, but I can't risk waking Dad. Dad gets angry enough as it is without being roused in the middle of the night. And I'd hate to think what he would say to Jas once he sees she's back. All I can do is whisper angrily instead. I'm mad Jas has taken away even my right to be angry. But I've never been very good at expressing myself. What? I'm just saying. You don't have to say. Well, sorry for trying to give you some advice. Wouldn't you rather it come from me than a future boyfriend? I'm never going to have a boyfriend. Well, your legs are getting kind of hairy. Don't talk about my body like that. Hey, don't sweat it. I'm not exactly rocking a bikini body here either. Jas pats her stomach. I pout in return and Jas laughs. She ruffles my hair. Don't worry, Lynn. This is just between you and me. I won't tell anyone. I'll hold you to that because if you tell anybody, I'm officially going to declare you the worst sister in the history of, well, ever, really. Either way, you would suck. Really? Yeah. Although... What? Jazz prods me in the cheek. You were pulling some weird fucking faces. It looked like you'd been possessed. It was actually pretty scary. My face burns bright red with shame. So, we've been going at this for about an hour and a half now, and still doesn't seem like as though we're close to being done. This thing's definitely going on a lot longer than the Steam store page led me to believe it would. Still, I am taking my sweet dear time with this, so maybe that's why. Still, though, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that the one thing that alleviated her stress, however awkward it freaking was, and believe me, it was pretty awkward, ended up getting ruined by the sister that, well, seems to honestly care about the younger kid deep down, but is really kind of a teasing jerk. Either way, you ruined it, Jazz. You've ruined the one hope that I've seen that Lynn has here to alleviate all the stress that she's been accumulating. So if this whole thing leads to a pretty tragic end here, I'm going to fault you for it, Jazz. You interrupting your sister's date with Rosy Palms is what dooms everything, and it'll all be your fault. Anyway, I guess I'm going to go ahead and cut the episode off here. I hope that those of you who've checked this episode of Lynn out enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I guess we will continue this on in the next episode. So take care.